July 11th. Haven't really filmed for the last week since the weather changed. Really, we've had, well, I think we must be on day 8 now of horrible weather. Wet, cold, horrible. Yeah, back to square one again. We had those nice, it was, Christ, it felt like a long time, but it wasn't. It was only a 2-week period of nice weather, and then straight back into the rain and the cold weather again. So I'll take you around everything what we've been doing. I think we're just fueling a tractor. We've still got 50 acres of grass on the floor that has just kept getting rained on. Yesterday was the first dry day, so Keithy went and tedded it. We've got a dry day today and possibly tomorrow. It's not completely dry, but we want to get it round baled up now. It's round bale cow hay, that's all it is now. Still got a hell of a lot to do. We've had a good start. I'm not saying that, I'm not moaning or anything like that. We've had a really good start, but we've still got quite a lot to do, and we really need to get on with it before the combine comes out, if we could. I want to take that probe with me today, because if they're high moisture, then they need to be monitored. We're just getting ready. Just going to put the round baler on, just make sure she's greased up, ready to go. Keithy's gone tedding. Young Roberts, he's been on the topper for 3 days now. Him and Davo sort of getting done between them. There's a lot of topping to do all the time. They're going around the headlands now, around the crop areas. They've been doing the cow fields and just odds and sods that need doing. There'll soon be time to get on with that stuff over at Jim's. You know, it'll only be a few weeks, and there'll be a few big fields there to top off and where farmers sprayed them off. We've been blowing hay on this side. This is some big 4-stringers that came from Graham and Martin's. We've been blowing hay on that side. And also, what else? Hang on, let me part this thing up. We'll go around, I'll show you what we've been doing. But me and Keithy have had a couple of days going around mending big holes and ruts and tracks and all sorts of bits and pieces. So we're just currently on some Timothy bales we're blowing, along with some forestry. Coming out nice and cool. Doesn't smell too bad. The little Ford sits on the fan all summer. Uncle Franklin's tractor's ready to go. We're all itching to get going again. All right, so let's start with the tedder, because Farmer's been doing some maintenance bits. We're going to have to get ourselves another one of these catch for the baler, because one of the catches broke already. Don't get us started on them. We don't rate these too much. They didn't really come aligned very well. We've had to move some of them to get them to catch, so we're itching to get going. There's not really, in the forecast at the minute, there's nothing settled. But so we had the tedder in. You remember where we're doing some work on this tedder. This is the spacer that goes between the jaw there. That allows the tedder to go up and over the undulations. Last year the roll pin had broken. It let the washer and the spacer come out, and then the pin was in there rattling about, which then allowed for some movement within the tedder to catch its own frame. So one thing led to another, so we thought we'd have a look at the pin, because obviously where it was rattling around in there with no spacer, we thought there might be a bit of wear. There was. So we went up to Crone yesterday. They were good as gold. They had it in stock. And where that arm has fallen off, there's an arm. Farmer did weld it, but it's just broken on the edge of the weld again. So we've ordered a new guard. That should be here today, actually, if we want to go and get it. But Farmer's put a new pin in here. Got it. Yeah, it's a lovely job, actually. So this thing is pretty much back up together. Oh, and yeah, for Crone are watching, we've made our own. Farmer did this yesterday. It's just a place to put a spare wheel. We've been carrying this wheel around in the cab, and it's rolling around it in the window, in the doors. It's a right pain in the butt. The Farmer made this. It's just literally just. But if Crone are watching, could we just not put one of these stands on as standard? Because all it is, you know, it's only a bit of metal. Like, surely we could add that. I'm not asking for a new tyre. I'm just asking for the place to store the tyre, because we've got 1,000 of these tyres but nowhere to store them. So yeah, that sits there nicely. You can spec it with a tyre, and it comes with a frame that fits on there like that. but surely they could put a frame on there for your own, you know, for your spare tyre, surely. But yeah, that's all up together again. The guard's coming, we'll get that guard put back on, she'll be back to square one. The baler's sweet, we like that baler a lot. Daisy's been driving it the most. We had to go and pick a cow and a calf up, so I've got some clearing out of the box to do. I'll show you the cow and calf in a minute. And the young gentleman turned up with the hire trailer. We're going to get this put in the dry somewhere today. These things are just beautiful. We've had these things now, this is the 3rd year we've had one. You know, they're just made right. They're just lovely, you know. If we could afford one, I know for a fact Farmer would have one. They're just really, really well made, heavy duty. Our red trailer's fine for carrying corn, but our little yellow one now is just getting to the point where it's not really suitable for corn. Fair, you know, fine enough to carry muck and all the rest of it, but I don't know what year this thing is. The young gentleman brought it for us today. He travelled 65 miles with it. It's a 14 tonner. It's on air brakes, it's on hydraulic brakes. If you want to move it on hydraulic, you just push the button, it frees off the brakes. But they do tell me, someone did tell me, you should always empty the if you're running it on hydraulic, you should empty the tanks just in case. They've had it before where that button, someone told me, he said they've had it where this button will pop out and completely lock all 4 wheels on the road, and you don't want that happening. But if you remove the air from the tank at the back, which is under here, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Remove this, there's air in there. If you're running it hydraulically on the hydraulic brakes, you should empty that tank out, and it will just prevent that from happening, that little button. Whether that's a thing or not, that's just what someone told me once, and they said you should always empty the air tank. Farmer, I think he started going around this yesterday. So we always leave it with all, I think he's put the panel in, hasn't he? Yeah, this bottom panel comes off. Certain panels to go in there for different crops. There's some different panels here. These all go in. He likes to seal them all up with a bit of silicone. I can see he's been up here and put a couple in. And there's various inspection holes and plates and covers that have got to go on. You won't be able to see too much there, I doubt, I'm afraid, but we'll look round this closer to the time. But he's just putting all his panels back in. We leave those inspection panels free, it's just in case a rat or mouse gets in there, you know, they can get in and get out. They ain't got to chew their way out, if you know what I mean. So Farmer always, you know, he always cleans it out and blows it out really clean. It's still very dirty, so just before we go and use it, Farmer will wash it off, have her looking a bit more tidy before he starts, if he's got time. If he hasn't got time, I imagine it will get used as it is. Some people wash them off in the winter. Some Farmer's idea on it is he doesn't want any water to stand anywhere in any bearings. So I don't know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. The chain underneath, that's an anti-static chain, so when he gets in the field he just lays that on the floor. That makes a difference. He finds himself not cleaning the windows quite so much. You still have to clean them, but not quite so much. It doesn't, the dust doesn't stick to the windows quite so much. Lovely combine. In the winter, they come and done winter service on it, and the isolator, which I think is in here somewhere, that red big switch in there, we had that done last summer, and the guy came to do the service and noticed it was not very good again, so that was done on warranty, so they don't come and done that for us. But it's been through, the guy come out, he inspects every bearing, all the belts, it's had its big belt change, it's had a lot of work done, it's had knives, you'll see them up in here. I don't know what you'll see here, it might be a bit too dark, but there's some knives up in here, and it's got a full set of knives. Not that we'll be doing any chopping this year, straw's going to be short, so I imagine everything will get baled into some sort of bale. You know, we need enough for our own cattle. This new barn, I imagine, will just get rammed full of straw to start with. They're coming back to do that in about 3 weeks time. We've got a young man in here. The vet's been out this morning. I will take you in. We had to go and pick him up last night. Don't want me in here much because we've been messing about with him already this morning, and she's not happy to be in here, so all right, girl, steady, good, steady now, good. Shh, shh, shh. Good. Shh. Shh, shh, shh. On you go. Right, if you look at his joints, I'm just keeping my eye on her. I'm not going to touch him. If you look at his rear joints, they are huge. Anyway, in the field, the old man and the farmer, they managed to jab him a couple of times. They went down, and at TB test time, they were normal. Anyway, over the last couple of weeks, they've started getting bigger and bigger again. So they obviously haven't killed the infection. And the vet was here today trying to drain some fluid out of it. A little bit came up, but not as much as we were hoping for. So he's in here. He's in the watch pen. He's going to get some strep and pen for the next 5 days. And some anti-inflammatories for his legs. And then I imagine he'll just go back out with the... he's a steer, you see. So he'll go back in with one of the bulls in the back paddock there for company, because one of them will need company. But he's very alert in himself, and he's pretty bright, and he gets up and walks, but he kept finding himself a little bit on his own. You know, he wasn't up for keeping up with the herd when they kept moving. He would just tend to lay there. If you got him up, he would go, you know. But he was just, he had to come in anyway. He's got to come in, he's got to be watched. So, yeah, that's, we'll keep giving him drugs. She jabbed him all over and trying to get the fluid out of his legs, but wouldn't happen. Anyway, she's not keen to be in here. They don't like it when they're away from the other cows. But unfortunately, you can't separate him, because she starts looking for him and he's looking for her, and they got to stay together, unfortunately. So they're in there in the watch pen, and yes, Keithy's out there at the minute trying to get the hay dry. This shed isn't quite there yet. I don't know which way. I don't know if Farmer's going to stick some more round bales in there. He might. I don't know what his plans are. This is old stock at the minute, still being used in this corner. We might have to move that in a couple of weeks' time if we get back going. That's no issues. There's some big bales in there. We might just fill that section with big bales. I imagine that's what he's planning. He has got a plan in his head, but we've been up on top, put the sheets down, got the bales up there to protect the sides. We had to move the fan back into that first corner. That started heating up. We blow it again, no worries. We've been up, we've put straw all up on the top just to protect the tops from colouring. We missed that on one bay last year, and it was noticeable how important that was. So, and this is all the stuff that came from Graham and Martin's. God, that was a hell of a day. Farmer said he'd get one trailer unloaded, the next one was in, and it was the same for me when we were up there. We didn't have much time to mess about up there, unfortunately. 6,500 bales for the day with 211 big ones back. We left a few up there to pick up the next day. We picked them up, really chuffed. We've been blowing them. We leave this for a day now, then we start blowing them, see if it's warming up. That came in as good as it could do. It was so lucky we got that. We had that one day, and if we hadn't have done that, we would have all of that to go and contend with now. Oh, that would not be good. So yeah, so apart from that, me and Keith have been fixing lanes, tracks, gateways. We had a day around that. I've sort of just been catching up on videos to show you guys, because we're stuck and stopped, and you know, the harvest videos are good. I like the harvest videos, so yeah, a bit of an update just on where things are. All this is protected. We've got this bit to fill, that bit to fill over there. We've got a couple of sheds on the outlying farms to fill as well, so we're not done yet. And then yesterday I had a day round machines. Get away from this noisy thing. We had a day round machines yesterday. Yeah, greasing up the, blowing off the baler, blowing off the tractor, oil, coolant, you know, checking everything. Just so when we get going, we ain't got to do all these things when we get going. And that's what I'm on today. I'm going to put the round baler on. If Keithy says it's fit, we should go and do, I think he said it will only be, there's a ginger cat, it's a new cat. He's really elusive, you don't see him much. But he likes it here. He came from one of the Linda's friends. And yeah, he's been showing his face more and more. So he's getting a little bit more up to speed with everything. But he's a bit of a loner cat. But cats around the farm, very good. You know, he doesn't go in the house. He lives literally at the farm on his own. He just feeds off the mice and the rats and anything else he might find. Keithy's going to let us know if there's some baling later on. We're going to get the round baler on, just ready. They're not coming into a shed. We're just going to make a stack of them down the field. We'll use them first, we'll feed them first. The silage will stay wrapped, that will keep him wrapped, see? And these things happen, you know, the weather shuts down pretty quick. On some years you get away with it, you know, it'll just be a shower come through. But this time, you know, we are hit by a lot of rain. So we've still got to sort it out though, still got to go out there and do something with it. And it'll be fine, cow hay, it's just getting it dry. Keithy said there's a lot of material out there and it's getting it dry now. One field might go today, so we might just have one field of baling to do. I'll quickly just show you around the baler because you haven't probably seen a lot around this. Tell you what I'm going to grease. Start the nets. Alright, what was the deal with this thing at the start? I think at the start it had some weird issue with the net. I can't remember what it was, but I know they put the net in back to front to what that shows you. I think it was just paint, and I don't think it matters anymore. But where it was new, it was doing something with the net. Cole will tell you, because Cole drives it the most. But they literally swapped the spool over so the net come off the roll backwards, but goes through the mechanism correct. A net will do about 300 bales at the size we're doing them. If you're doing them bigger, you'll get less. If you're doing them smaller, you get more. The pickup reel is all adjusted on here, so if you're not quite clearing it up, you just literally pull this pin out, pick her up a little bit. I think if we want to put the reel down a bit more, we just literally stick her in that hole, pull that pin, let the reel down into that hole. At the moment it's set there. We will see what that does. If we need to adjust it, we will. I'll just show you in the back door. Let me get these doors open for you. Anyway, the guys love this thing. I haven't used it enough. I haven't used balers enough to know really what's what. But yes, you know, the chains are heavy duty. It's got an auto lube system on there, so you know, and I'm sure the other balers do that as well. Full of oil, so I ain't got to touch that. But I am just going to give everything a shot of grease. There's some banks here. We did, when it first came, there was a couple of issues with oil runs and greases not being hooked up, but stuff we can sort out, no worries. Yeah, this is an auto lube kit. Got a bit of a leak going on here. I'll just make sure all those are pushed in and see if we can stop that. Nothing to worry about, it's not leaking anything back. But every time it puts the net on, it cycles the pump, which then takes all these little pipes to the chains. There's brushes on the chain, see, comes to here on this brush and just rubs a bit of oil and just keeps the chains, you know, lubed and greased. Not greased, lubed. But yeah, and it runs through to the other side. We've got to put some spare net on. It comes through to the other side, look. It will lube this one, this one. There's one down here, look, on the inside there. It's a good baler, you know, it's adjustable. It's a VB3160, I think, is the number of it. And we had a New Holland before. Farmer liked the New Holland, but he said this thing's just something else. So Colin will do 2,000 bales with it per year, roughly. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, you know, average I'd imagine it's around 2,500, something like that. We had to put this flap in. That was a new flap. That is there to allow the mechanism to work and stop rubbish going in, but the flap broke, and I think that's the only problem. If you don't blow it out daily after you've used it, it builds up with material in there and then it will put the net on funny. So you just got to make sure you keep her blown off, because that's the key to everything, isn't it? You know, keep her blown off, keep her greased, and she'll be all right. We've got a greaser up here. He said there was some on the top of the hinges of the doors, so I've got to find those. But yeah, gonna grease her up anyway, make sure she's good. Right, we're just done greasing. I'll just show you. It's not the easiest thing to grease this thing. This is what it looks like inside. Those gas struts are ever so got to hang on to it, it just goes poof. But yeah, there are your spools inside. You just got to remember, if you're having a big day, you might need another 4 spools to take with you. We always just take some, put some in the field somewhere, you know, if you need it. But yeah, Linda's got a few spare bits in there as well. They're not hers, they are a right pain. Panel opens at the top, look, so you can get in at the top. There's 2 at the top and then 3 at the back, and they are very awkward to get on. especially this one behind this thing here. We might even have to change those nipples in there to an angled one, just because you can only just get on them. There's greases everywhere. That's the only chain on the machine that runs the knotters. Obviously you got your step to get up there. Steve sent these through. Not very clever, is it? Usually a bugger to get out. I don't know whether they would just stay in there. I don't want them falling out either, so we just take them. There's greases on the bottom. You got climb up. Use these little steps to climb up, and then you got 1, 2, 3. There's 2 on this jaw that pushes the jaw open. Yeah, greases everywhere. You got to start with your chute up, because there's greases underneath the chute on the bearings that do the chains. And the PTO we do every 3 days. The knot has got to be done every day, and you know, the just the main bearings that are working all the time do every day. This thing's ready to go again. We've put some oil in for Linda. She's topped up the coolant, she's blowing off. Yeah, had a right go around her. So we just fold everything back up, put all the bits away, close all the doors, and she's good to go. But yeah, it's not the easiest job to grease. That takes quite, well, it's just a job you got to do, and it doesn't happen in 2 minutes, that job, but pretty good anyway. Do not forget your step, because Linda, if you don't, whoever's greasing it needs to make sure that step goes back. Everything just latches back together, really simple. But so far so good with this machine. Linda really likes it. The improvements they've made have been real good improvements. Yeah, impressive actually, really impressive. You know, we liked the very first iteration of the model, and they just they've made this one, in my eyes, it's damn near bang on the money. I say I don't know how I'd improve it, but I'd love to see on the next models, even as an option, just an auto lube for the knotters. Not an auto lube, but maybe just one that you can pump from here, like the baler we got. There's just where all the lines go to the knotters, and you just do it from here. Boom, 2, 3, you know, bang some grease in like that. And maybe for the top ones, I would probably do away with this door and just have somewhere on the machine where, you know, you could like on the baler, you got greasers, a bank of greasers that go up, but I don't know how that would work quite. That wouldn't work, would it? Thinking about it, you wouldn't be able to do that one because that one moves. Yeah, maybe that's a dream, I don't know, but they are tricky. Even with the step, there's not a lot of room on that step. So you've got to be careful.